The story opens on a wide, open field, where Michael stands quietly, staring at a sky painted in stunning colors. For a moment, everything feels calm, until a gunshot shatters the peace. A woman screams, and Michael jolts upward, only to realize it was just a nightmare. That night, Michael heads to a casino where he's been working for the past 3 months, and in those 3 months, he memorized every inch of that building, every camera angle, every worker's routine, every tiny habit the staff didn't even know they had. He had even earned the trust of high-profile VIP clients, overhearing secret conversations. After his shift, Michael removes his makeup in the mirror. His real face is completely different. No one would ever guess this polite casino employee is actually a seasoned con artist, someone who makes a living by deceiving people and taking their money. The only reason he took this job was to study the casino from the inside out, and he had done exactly that. Over those 3 months, he installed tiny gadgets inside card machines and tables, devices nobody would ever notice. Now, everything was ready. Tonight was the night he'd take home a fortune. With a brand new disguise, he walked into the casino again and activated one of the hidden devices using his phone. Suddenly, cards started popping out of the shuffling machines. Then he moved to the dice table, where he used his magnetic dice, along with a hidden button he'd installed earlier, one that could change the outcome whenever he wanted. Next, he slipped into the room of a rich VIP client who was knocked out cold because Michael had spiked his drink. That's when Michael stole the man's gold pass and a set of fancy clothes. He then hurried to the service elevator, inserted a chip into the control panel, and waited. Right on time, an employee arrived carrying a fresh batch of cards. Michael, now pretending to be a furious VIP, barked, "Someone dropped me on the wrong floor. You want me to file a complaint?" The employee panicked instantly, but before he could react, Michael used his phone to cut the lights and stop the elevator, turning the situation into pure chaos. While the worker scrambled and called for help, Michael calmly placed his own box of cards inside and removed the real ones. Once everything was reset, Michael headed to the VIP room, where Alex, another player, sat waiting. Michael wore special glasses that allowed him to see the numbers on the cards. When the game began, he purposely didn't win every round. He needed to look normal, not suspicious. As the stakes rose and everyone pushed more money onto the table, Michael arranged his cards perfectly and shoved all his chips forward. Everyone followed him. This was it. One move, and he'd be a millionaire. But then, everything fell apart. The cards in Michael's hand suddenly changed. His perfect winning hand turned into garbage. And just like that, he lost everything. The third player, the one everyone ignored, won the entire pot. He casually said, "I'm done playing," grabbed the money, and walked out. Michael knew something was wrong. He followed the man, cornered him, and demanded his suitcase. But when he opened it, there wasn't a single dollar inside, just worthless papers. The lights flickered, and the man's face shifted right in front of him. It wasn't even the same person he had followed. Before he could react, guards surrounded him. They dragged him into a storage room and tied him to a chair. One guard punched him straight in the face. Then Victor, the casino owner, walked in demanding his money. Michael tried bluffing, claiming he was a VIP that only earned him more punches. Finally, he confessed there was another scammer inside the casino, the real one who stole the money. Michael explained he had been fooled too. Victor didn't believe him, but gave him 1 week to recover the money or face the consequences. After escaping the casino, Michael drove deep into the desert, arriving at a tiny rundown casino. Guards stopped him at gunpoint, but their boss, Leon, stepped out and said, "Let him through, he's a friend." Over drinks, Michael noticed a necklace hanging from Leon's neck. The symbol on it matched the tattoo Alex had. Michael asked about the symbol, and Leon demanded to hear Michael's entire story first. After Michael explained everything, Leon said, "You crossed paths with a psychic." Michael laughed, assuming it was a joke, but Leon was dead serious. He explained that there are real people, extremely rare, who live among normal society but possess supernatural gifts. These people can enter another realm, a place where memories, thoughts, and consciousness connect. From that hidden world, they can manipulate things in our world. Then Leon showed Michael an old book filled with drawings of powerful figures, individuals who had tapped into that mysterious place. Leon explained, "Normal people can enter that world too, but they can't return unless someone guides them back." Michael still didn't believe him. Annoyed, Leon handed him the book, filled with names of gifted individuals, and said, "Go find Alex and bring back the money." Meanwhile, Alex met with a man named Gordon, handing him all the stolen cash. Gordon said he wanted to enter the other world too, but Alex refused. He liked doing business with Gordon, and he wasn't willing to risk losing him. Back with Michael, he asked Leon whether the people on that list were actually real. Leon said he had personally witnessed their powers. That's when Michael had an idea. What if he formed a team of people with abilities? A team capable of robbing any casino on Earth. He found Eric first, a wealthy kid who could move objects with his mind. But Eric had zero motivation to do anything useful. Then Michael found Tony, a taxi driver who could control electronics. Somehow, Michael convinced both men to join him. Finally, he located Kevin, a man capable of hypnotizing anyone so deeply that whatever he showed them became their reality. But Kevin was locked inside a mental institution, where doctors used his powers to treat patients' depression. Michael told him, "You're throwing your whole life away in here. I can make you rich." As the team prepared to escape, the nurse rushed after them. But Eric used his telekinetic power to send objects flying through the hallway, forcing patients to collide and blocking her path. Tony jumped in next. He fired up the ambulance engine using his electric ability and remotely unlocked the gate. And just like that, the entire group slipped out of the mental facility in the smartest, smoothest way possible. The next day, they started practicing how they'd use their abilities inside the casino. Kevin would hypnotize people with his mind. Tony would control the cameras, and all of their powers were connected to the other world, an unseen realm where their abilities reached full strength. Inside that world, Eric could physically move dice with his hands, causing the dice in real life to shift on their own. Kevin controlled a human-like figure made of ice. Whatever he commanded that figure to do, people in the real world behaved exactly the same way. And Tony, inside the other world, stood in the middle of a storm made of electric currents. Every time he hacked a device, its internal chip appeared right in front of him in that realm. Their first real test run happened at Leon's casino. At first, everything worked flawlessly, but slowly, things started to unravel. Kevin misunderstood a command and accidentally blinded an employee for a moment. The man panicked, and a losing gambler suddenly pulled out a gun. Tony froze in fear and caused a short circuit in the camera system. Instead of controlling them properly, Michael had to rush over, calm everyone down, and stop the situation from exploding into total chaos. That's when he realized they needed a better way to communicate during missions. Without that, they'd never pull off a real operation. The next day, Michael attended a funeral where several women were asking Veronica for help. Suddenly, a group of men dressed in black walked in, and Veronica immediately fled in fear. She dropped her headphones, which Michael picked up, when even more men appeared from another street. Veronica hid inside an old building. Michael followed her, returned her headphones, and told her he wasn't one of those men. Veronica tried to walk away, but Michael followed anyway. She could read minds, and without hesitation, she told him she had zero interest in whatever he was planning. But before she could escape, one of the black-clothed men spotted them. Michael urged her to run, while he confronted the man. Meanwhile, under Alex's guidance, Gordon began his training. A mind controller sent Gordon into the other world, granting him the ability to manipulate thoughts as well. While his physical body lay unconscious, Gordon forced an artist to paint a replica of a famous artwork. Then he controlled a museum employee, making him replace the real painting with the fake one before it was shipped to another museum. When the forged painting was being loaded into a van, Gordon suddenly woke up. He walked straight to the confused artist and bought the real painting for a small amount of cash. Everyone he had controlled had no memory of what happened. Back with Michael, he had finally convinced Veronica to join the team. Soon after, he introduced her to the others. He explained her powers. She could read minds and silently place thoughts directly into other people's heads. During their casino missions, she would relay Michael's commands through the other world. To practice, Michael asked Veronica to enter the other world. To her, it appeared as a strange, eerie forest. Michael then imagined Eric shaking the largest bell in the city, and Veronica transmitted that thought instantly. Eric carried it out without hesitation. Next, Michael imagined two people sprinting and screaming for help. Veronica sent the thought to Kevin, who used his hypnosis to make it happen immediately. After that round of practice, Michael imagined the next move. What if Tony caused a short circuit across the entire area, just enough to spark panic and send every bird in the sky scattering? Veronica picked up the thought effortlessly, and then Michael told her to plant one final idea into everyone's mind. An earthquake is coming. Veronica pushed the thought into the crowd, and with all the chaos happening at once, the blackout, the birds, the trembling fear, people truly believed the ground was about to split open beneath them. Panic swept through the area. Everyone bolted. Everyone except Michael's team. Once the place emptied out, Michael casually slipped a few drinks from a nearby restaurant and finally revealed the master plan. They would infiltrate the casino in disguise. Each member would enter at a different different time. Only Veronica would walk beside him, posing as his fiancée. For that, they needed high-end clothes, perfect hair, flawless makeup, the full VIP package. So they hit the salons, shopped at designer boutiques, and transformed themselves completely. 2 days later, the team arrived at the casino, polished, confident, and ready. Michael sat down to play while Veronica stayed silent beside him, reading his thoughts and passing them to the team through the other world. Tony controlled the cameras during his turns. Eric pretended to be one of Michael's opponents, purposely losing hands so Michael could keep winning without attracting suspicion. Once Michael stacked up a small fortune, he and Veronica switched tables, where Kevin was already manipulating an employee's mind. Everything went smoothly at first, but then Eric drank too much and got frustrated after losing again and again. Instead of relying on Veronica to send messages, he started talking to Michael directly. And even worse, he began manipulating one of the machines on his own to rack up wins. Tony got overexcited too. Instead of staying subtle, he took control of multiple machines at once. One jackpot after another exploded across the casino floor. That's when the guards realized something was wrong. They grabbed Tony and Eric immediately. When the guards dragged them toward the elevator, the rest of the team was already waiting. Kevin hypnotized the guards instantly, sending them back to their posts without remembering a thing. Inside the elevator, the team regrouped, and Michael tore into them, reminding them that these people wouldn't just arrest them, they'd kill them. Everyone agreed to stick strictly to the plan. Finally, they reached the last table. Michael pushed all his money into one massive bet. Kevin controlled the dealer's mind. Eric manipulated the dice. The plan clicked perfectly, and Michael won millions in a single strike. Later that night, the team celebrated on the beach, drinking beside a fire. Veronica sat alone, staring at the waves. Michael joined her, saying they were an amazing team, that together they could make endless money. But Veronica refused. They argued, and the fight grew bitter, with both of them saying things they didn't mean. Meanwhile, Alex had dinner with Gordon and told him the training was off. He warned Gordon that entering the other world without someone he fully trusted was too dangerous. When Gordon asked about Michael, Alex revealed that Michael had already built a new team. Gordon didn't take that well and declared that something had to be done. The next morning, the whole team was driving together when suddenly an SUV appeared behind them. Tony tried to lose it, but another SUV cut them off. The vehicles boxed them in, forcing Tony to stop. Victor stepped out with his men and had the entire team tied up. Michael insisted they had the money and could pay him back, but Victor wasn't after the cash. He wanted their powers. Since Michael didn't have any powers, they dragged him to the edge of a cliff and shot him. His body tumbled down the rocks. The rest of the team, horrified, retreated into the other world to hide. They had no idea. It was all a setup. Michael was alive. He had been taken straight to Gordon, his father. Gordon freed his hands. Michael was in shock as the truth unraveled. His own father had orchestrated everything. Guards held him while Gordon ranted, saying Michael had ignored him for 10 years, forcing him to take drastic action. Gordon reminded him of the dream they once shared, a dream of a special door that led into the other world. Now, Gordon claimed he finally knew how to reach it. A few days later, at Victor's casino, Tony, Kevin, and Eric were forced to work as employees, rigging games so the casino could fleece its clients. One night, when they returned to their room, a plumber was working in the bathroom. It was Michael. He immediately asked for Veronica. The others told him she refused to work for Victor and had fallen into a coma, unable to escape the other world after witnessing Michael die. That same night, the lights above the tables began flickering. The team had had enough. They confronted Victor and told him they were done. Victor's guards swarmed in, locked them inside a storeroom, and placed a guard outside. That plumber was Michael in disguise. He freed everyone and quickly laid out the escape plan. Kevin hypnotized the guard into unlocking the door with his keycard, while Michael slipped a stolen key into the elevator controls, jamming it at the basement level so no one else could use it. But the next hallway was lined with laser security. Michael assigned everyone their roles and rushed off to find Veronica. He already had a good idea which room she'd be kept in. Wearing a mask, he dropped a gas bomb inside, knocking out the guard, and pulled Veronica out of the smoky room. Meanwhile, Tony managed to disable some of the lasers, but not all. There was just enough space for Eric to squeeze through and reach the vault. Using his ability, he began forcing the locks open. The lasers were down, but the alarm triggered anyway. Guards sprinted toward the vault, but the elevator wasn't working, and another guard Kevin had hypnotized was firing wildly down the hall. The guards guards tackled the mind-controlled man, then forced their way down the corridor. By the time they reached the vault, Eric had already opened it. The team rushed inside and slammed the door behind them. Victor harshly ordered his men to shoot the moment the team stepped out. That's when Michael revealed the real mission wasn't over. Not until Veronica woke up, the team warned him that entering the other world to retrieve her could kill him. He had no powers, but Michael refused to back down. Kevin hypnotized him, pushing his consciousness directly into the other world. Michael awoke in a vast white void, filled with floating pieces of his past, his mother's death, his criminal years, prison, every mistake surrounding him like ghosts. Soon he heard Veronica's voice calling him selfish and cold. A door appeared, he stepped through. Now he stood in a massive field under a sky painted with surreal colors. A storm gathered. Michael hid behind one of the many scattered doors, but the storm nearly tore him apart. In desperation, he raised his hand, and the storm froze. With one gesture, he slammed it into the ground, clearing the entire field. He sat down, focusing on Veronica's memories. The earth cracked beneath him and reshaped into a city. Michael climbed a staircase and found Veronica at the top, staring blankly at the sky. When he tried to reach her, a force field blocked him, an invisible shield he could not break. He pushed, yelled, but she didn't react. So he tried reaching her mind to mind. The city collapsed into rubble beneath heavy rain. Veronica still stood in her shield, untouched, but now she could hear him. She told him she didn't want to return to the real world. No one cared about her there. No one waited for her. Michael insisted he was alive. She didn't believe him until he sent her the memory of the very first day they met. The world shifted again. They ran, jumped rooftops, and when Michael reached the top, he told her, "Maybe you don't have anyone else, but you have me."
Veronica took his hand. Suddenly, they were back in the field of doors. She kissed him, stepped through on, and woke up in the real world. But Michael was still inside. Finding an exit would be his first real test. A flashback revealed that Gordon, Michael's father, had taught him everything about the other world. Gordon wanted them to use the doors to rob the world blind. He gave Michael a compass and promised help when the time came. Back in the present, Michael saw Alex walking through a door and followed. The scenery morphed into the casino. He witnessed the moment Alex learned to slip into someone's mind and understood how to do it himself. Michael snapped awake inside the vault and told the team they were leaving with the cash. Tony deactivated the lock and opened the door, and the hallway was completely empty. While Michael was in the other world, he had slipped into Victor's mind and convinced him the team had already escaped with the money. Victor panicked, sending all his guards outside to hunt them down. That's why the corridor was deserted. The team walked out untouched, grabbed every last bill, and vanished into the night. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.